Hello, fellow gamers. This is Tim again, and I'd like to talk a little bit about the Firefly and Serenity Verse or universe and the Serenity RPG. I uh, I played in a game. My first RPG I ever played with in the Firefly Verse was using the World of Darkness engine. It was basically the old World of Darkness in a very rules light fashion, with a lot of the elements from the Serenity RPG put into it. Now, I really liked the way it worked out. I liked it so much that I have a hard time using another system with Firefly and in the Serenity Verse. And I got the book right here. I think you can see it. Serenity. It's backwards, but by Margaret Weiss Productions, and it uses a dice step system. Now, for those of you that don't know what a dice step system is you'll have stats and you'll have skills, and there'll be different dice types associated with that skill. So D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, etc. And what you do is you'll roll a certain stat and a certain skill, and then you have to get to some target number. And supposedly, the bigger the dice you have, the better your chances are of getting that target number. Um, but it's kind of statistically, it's a little weird because characters with lower dice are actually more consistent, and characters with bigger dice are actually less consistent. So a D4, you kind of, I don't know, it's one of those weird statistic things. But anyway, I think the system works. The Cortex system works. I've looked at the separate Cortex system that they put out by themselves, and it's a good RPG. There's nothing wrong with it. Like nothing. It's just slightly different than other RPGs. It has its own quirks and it has its own benefits. It's kind of nice to be able to roll a bunch of funky dice. I mean, I enjoy playing Dungeons and Dragons and having all my funky polyhedral dice. So that's kind of neat, especially if people prefer more dice. And but for me, I don't know. I like the verse. I like the setting. I love the TV show and the movie. Firefly is a TV show and Serenity is the movie. But for me, I think that the World of Darkness is a better social game, and I think that there's a lot of more social things going on, especially if you have a lot of like ship dialogue in your game, which you're gonna have. You're gonna have stuff that happens a lot of times on the ship, which travels from place to place, but the ship is always there, and the character is always on the ship, and the characters always have to relate with one another. So but yeah, here's the World of Darkness. It's been reviewed several times on YouTube, and either the old World of Darkness or the new World of Darkness, either one. I tend to run them both pretty rules light, but for me, it seems that it was made for the Serenity Verse. There's gun rules in there, there's combat rules in there, and it seems to fit better for me. So, like I said, Serenity isn't a bad RPG. It's probably like 3 out of 5 stars. It does what it's supposed to do. It has lots of interesting details on the setting, and if you're ever gonna run a Firefly game, definitely pick this up because it supports. It says Serenity on it. It's like you're supporting something that's supporting something cool. Um, it's I don't know. I liked it, but I didn't like it enough to run a game with. Someone said that there's a book called Big Damn Heroes, which supposedly tries to improve upon the system with some different optional rules. I don't have that book, but it's definitely something I'd be interested in picking up if my wife let me spend more money on RPGs. But I only have a limited income these days, so. But I've spent a lot of money on RPGs in the past, so I really can't complain. I have a big old bookshelf over there with all my games on it. Some other things that you might find handy if you're ever going to run a Firefly and Serenity game. There's these official visual companions. This is the Serenity one. It's pretty chunky, and there's all kinds of different pictures and just details. There's actually the scripts that are in here, so those can help out a lot. And then there's actually 2 Firefly companions. If you guys can see, that's kind of shiny. There's this one here too. And they have a lot of images and a lot of pictures, but it's kind of nice to show pictures to your players as you're running a game. And I don't know. I just really love the verse. I love the sci-fi meets Western frontier kind of theme to the game. And it's like gritty, low sci-fi without aliens, which was nice. And it's set like 500 years in the future, so it's not like too far out there. You know, I think there's only one, kind of the Lassiter laser pistol in the whole series, and most of the time everyone's just shooting guns. And I like that they're riding horses on the frontier worlds that are just basically scraping by. Not really normally a sci-fi guy, but the Western plus the sci-fi, it just, I don't know, it just scratches an itch that I have somewhere up here in my brain. So, but yeah, the Serenity game it's a good game. It's a good resource book, because there's things in there that you'd have a hard time finding elsewhere. And there's lots of fan websites out there. There's one that I probably don't even have the link for it, but they just have lots of ship layouts and ship diagrams and floor plans, and a lot of them are just gorgeous. And it's nice to have some sort of nice layout for your players whenever you're running a game. And for some reason, whenever I run the Serenity and Firefly, it's nice to have pictures. I like to have the players decide what actor they want to play their character. So you can use that for any game. I think that you're running. Just have them pick out some sort of is John Cusack the captain? Whatever the case may be. It's kind of fun. So I don't know. I like the game. It's good for, especially good for setting information, but I tend to like to run it in different RPGs. And the World of Darkness is my preferred way of running it. So if anybody else has any suggestions on systems that work well with Firefly, I know BRP is kind of like my rising star right now. I want to try to use maybe BRP to run Firefly. I want to make BRP like my one go-to system, but I really don't have that much experience with it, so I'm just kind of tinkering on it as I go right now. So I don't know. The first is cool. If you've never seen the Firefly show, you can watch it on Hulu, and the Serenity movie you can just grab on DVD. So enjoy, have fun in the verse, and I don't know. Big bad guys, real big bad guys. I can't go with it. Let's be bad guys. That's right. All right. See you guys later.